Target's one of the biggest retailers here in America, and we all like to go to Target, right? Walmart's cool and all, but I want something a little bit more fancy. Whole Foods is too expensive. You know, I'm not going to the mall if I'm going for furniture or some clothes. I mean, Target seems like a perfect medium, right? They got food, they got pretty decent clothing for the cheap, and they even have like pretty light furniture. I mean, all the college kids like Target. Target is kind of like a slightly more premium version of like Walmart. And I gotta admit, I do enjoy my times at Kroger. You know, I do enjoy my times at Whole Foods, but Target has always been like a go-to place for a lot of people here in the US. And now Target is now closing down 9 stores in major cities, citing violence and theft, with most of the store closings being in the Bay Area, which really isn't that surprising. So Target is closing locations in New York City, Seattle, San Francisco, and Portland. And the reason why they're closing 9 stores across the country is because these stores are struggling with a lot of crime, safety threats, and much more. Target is a very realistic company. They open a location and most of the time it makes money. And it's crazy because these places like New York City, Seattle, San Francisco, and Portland, they actually get a lot of business, right? The foot traffic is insane, but the laws in these cities pretty much encourage a lot of shoplifting. And with organized crime being on the rise and organized crime being very lucrative and with barely any consequences, we're seeing mass robberies. You know, we're seeing people just run into Apple stores stealing things. This is crazy. Like, imagine 2 people go into a clothing store, gets a whole rack of clothes, and then just leaves. That's insane. And I highly doubt anyone do anything. You know, it's in San Francisco, entire clothing rack, and I'm pretty sure the police didn't do anything either, right? I'm sure the police want to do something, but they're afraid to get canceled. And also, there's a massive shortage. And also the whole defund the police situation, you know, the cops just really can't do anything at this point. And if you look at this, you also have like the Tenderloin district. It just looks like this on a constant basis every single day. You know, trash everywhere, people doing drugs. There's a lot of homelessness. You know, this is what major cities here in the US looks like, right? This is like what the Bay Area looks like, what Oakland, San Francisco, what Seattle, what Portland looks like. And it's just a sad sight to see. You know, some of our greatest cities are just becoming crumbles at this point. They're just crumbling down to this. And now big corporations are seeing this and they're just absolutely leaving. Target announces it's closing stores in San Francisco, Oakland due to theft. They straight up said it, right? They're not going to put any sort of fluff or any sort of sugar on it. They just straight up tell people, hey, we're leaving because we're constantly getting robbed and nothing's being done about it. You don't see stores closing in Las Vegas. You don't see stores closing in Texas or Miami or Orlando or Tampa. You only see these stores close in like Oakland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle. Like, it's these types of cities that close. And Target, hey, I mean, I've heard stories of Target employees saying that almost every 10 minutes, they always see some person shoplifting a small piece of clothing, or they shoplift some food, or they shoplift some items from like the makeup section. Like, employees say shoplifting at Target is so rampant. Like, almost everyone that goes there, you know, who works there and who shops there, they'll always see some sort of shoplifting going on. And many employees don't care, and they're also told not to confront those people either. And Target is like, we're done with this, right? We're losing so much money from these stores, and they will close 3 stores in the San Francisco Bay Area before Halloween. Retail giant says organized crime rings have become so rampant that store employees and shoppers are no longer safe. And like I said before, there's a lot of organized crime in the US, right? You know, you got this scenario, like just people going to the Apple store for the titanium iPhone, not to buy it, but literally just run in, you know, organized crime to go in, get a bunch of iPhones, items, all this kind of stuff, and then just run out. I mean, this is happening everywhere. And there's even like a lot of jokes online saying, why would you ever like buy stuff like this when you could easily just go to one of these stores and just loot the crap out of it, right? This is happening to massive lootings in like, you know, the Louis Vuitton store, the Gucci store in Los Angeles. And this is happening more and more frequently every single day. This is basically nonstop. And it's like a pretty difficult thing to see. You know, I think we can change things, but with the laws being like this and with how a lot of these left-leaning cities are handling it, it's just not a great sign, right? Retailers lose $112 billion in organized crime wave. It's not even like petty shoplifting, right? They're literally losing billions of dollars just from organized crime, because the only reason why organized crime will flourish is because of extremely lackluster laws that don't have any power, and laws are lacking. A lot of people, they do mass amounts of shopping, massive amounts of stealing, and the police officers just can't do anything, right? And plus, even when people do get arrested, guess what? They get let out right away. Like, it's just a slap on the wrist. When punishments are just a slap on the wrist, obviously a lot of people will start doing this shoplifting and organized crime, because people steal tens of thousands of dollars from one massive stealing spree, and that's like months and months of a regular job's income. So it's actually encouraging this sort of behavior, and we're going to be seeing more of this. We're going to be seeing more and more stores in the Bay Area closing as time goes on. It's going to be way more than Target. If you guys think, it's just Target closing, that's it. Remember, we already have a bunch of stores in San Francisco closing like constantly, right? Like Westfield Mall, a whole entire mall shut down because of intensive shoplifting. Like, this is a high-end luxury mall. They straight up shut down because they said the vacancy rates were like 50%, whereas other locations had like a vacancy rate of 1 to 5%. That's what Westfield said. So San Francisco, it's just their San Francisco location that has a 50% vacancy rate. So Westfield shut down, the stores shut down. Nordstrom left with 500,000 square feet completely empty. Now you have 3 Targets in the Bay Area closing down. And you also have Park 55 with resorts, this 3,000 room hotel closing down as well. Not to mention several other apartment complexes, retail stores, and several other skyscrapers in the Bay Area, which are all facing massive delinquencies because many people are just moving out and not coming back in. And what I'm just really shocked is, like, you would think the city would do something, right? Like, the city literally isn't doing anything. Like San Francisco, you have people protesting. Oakland, you have 200 stores closed down to protest. Nothing happens, right? Nothing ever changes. It's always the same old every single day. And like, I just don't get it. Like, if you go to like other first world countries, if you go to like, Singapore, go to like, if you go to like city of Tokyo, if you go to Shanghai and even in China, like, you won't see this type of stuff. You won't see open air drug markets. You won't see just rampant theft, right? They actually catch thieves and give them insane punishments. That's why there's no such thing as organized crime in many of other cities outside the U.S. Like, if you go to like Dubai, there's no way people are getting away with just running into like a Gucci store and stealing a bunch of purses and getting away with it. That's not going to happen over there, right? Because the laws are extremely strict and they actually hold up the law. But right now, San Francisco just full of lawlessness, right? Everything's just so soft over here. You have just, the city just genuinely just doesn't care. I mean, you could open a store here, they'll tax the crap out of you, and then nothing ever gets done. I love San Francisco. I like the city a lot. I've been here before the pandemic. It was a great city. It had its problems, but it was still pretty great and just way better than what it is now. I really hope they do recover, because I would like to visit the city once again. And who knows, maybe even getting a job here, because there's still like a decent amount of tech companies. But there's no way I'll ever step foot in the city unless they change things up, because right now it's just super dangerous to be on the streets. It's just not a place for tourism, and a lot of tourists are never coming back. They come here once, word of mouth to other people, and them and other people are not coming here. And it's sad, because this city has a lot of really good culture, but hey, it's some crazy stuff, right? Shoplifting, open air drug markets. San Francisco really needs to change.